There are times in CAD when you need a nice path that runs along a surface or the surface of a solid, but you need it at an angle so that you can't just clone the sketch that made the solid in the first place and move it up. Or the solid is already a composite of multiple shapes so there's no originating sketch. Start in the Part Workbench. Create a sketch on the XY plane. Create a periodic B-spline, generally around the origin. Just a random odd shape. Close the sketch. Extrude the sketch to 100 millimeters. Here we have a nice kind of blobby shape. I want to create a bead around the extrusion at an angle. Because it will be at an angle, the original sketch won't be helpful. We can get FreeCAD to do the work. Create a primitive plane. Make it 150 by 150 millimeters. Select the plane, right-click, and transform. Slide it underneath the extrusion and raise it up a bit. Tilt it at an angle. OK that. Select the Extrude and the Plane and the Section tool. There's our nice path. But if you're looking closely and your screen has a high enough resolution, you might notice a potential issue. Right here we have a break. It highlights when I hover over it, so it's not just a display artifact. I'll get to that in a moment. Now to create the bead around the extrusion. Create a new sketch on the XY plane. Create a circle 1 millimeter in radius on the origin. Close the sketch. Attach that sketch to the section, normal to the edge, and OK that. Create a sweep. Add the new sketch and select Path. Choose the section and click Done. Since the sketch is already normal to the selection, we don't need Frenet, so click that off. And OK. Open up the sweep, then the section, and bring the extrude back. The natural thing to do would be to select the sweep, select the extrude, and fuse. But I'm not going to do that yet because it might take a very long time to complete if it ever does. There's a problem with the geometry. Let's test the sweep a little bit. Select the sweep and Parametric Solid from the Curves workbench. The icon is brown, which is not particularly promising. That happens when instead of a solid you get a shell. We're going to have to resolve this somehow before the fusion can work. The Parametric Solid feature has a debug section where we can select to show openings. That's important because openings are the most common reason why we might get a shell instead of a solid. And sure enough, there is an opening. I'll hide the sketch away to make it more visible. A perfect circle where the ends of the sweep should have met but didn't, right at the little spot where I highlighted earlier. Fortunately, the Section tool offers a solution. Under Section, Approximate. Enable that. The approximation doesn't noticeably change the shape of the section, but it does take into account the small edge case that gave us a break at the edge. Notice as soon as I checked the Approximate box, the icon for the solid turned green, indicating that the sweep is now truly a solid. I can delete the Parametric Solid now since it was only there for debugging purposes. Now select the sweep and the extrusion and fuse, and it's done it perfectly. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video or found it useful, please like, subscribe, and share. If there's anything you'd like to see covered here, please let me know in the comments below.